All right, out here with our 1960 Triumph TR3A. So if you missed the story of this car, we found it in a barn here in Idaho. It had been parked there for about 30 years. So the previous owner bought the car because his golfing buddy told him he sucked at golf and should maybe find a different hobby, and encouraged him to get a classic car. So he found this car, bought it. They did a full brake job on it and a tune-up. And then he started playing golf more and got better at it. So then the car just got left in his barn. He actually responded to a want ad we had put out that we were looking for a Triumph. And so we went and looked at it and decided to buy it because it was super solid and complete. So we got it back to our shop and I got to work on it right away. We didn't have to do a ton to it mechanically. Let me go ahead and pop the hood here real quick. The T-bar, T-handle. So we just did a full tune-up on it. New oil, new filter. The rubber bits throughout the car were pretty crusty from sitting for 30 years. So the hoses, the radiator hoses were leaking really bad. So I went ahead and replaced all those, all the way from the radiator back and including the ones in the heater core. We're going to the heater core. We put a new battery in it. Got a tie down or strap for the factory style strap for the battery, so the battery stays in place nicely now. We flushed out, obviously we flushed out the cooling system when we did the hoses. We also drained the fuel system just to make sure we didn't have any gunk in there. I put new plugs and wires in it. I'm gonna go ahead and we've got the points and the other ignition parts for a tune-up, so I'll probably go ahead and do those, but I don't really think it needs it, and honestly it runs great. We did have to replace the hose that goes from the clutch slave cylinder or master cylinder down to the slave cylinder. The hose was completely rotted out, so there was no clutch engagement, but we went ahead and flushed the system on that. I inspected the brakes. The brakes looked really good. They'd been done 30 years ago, but the car sat, so they seem to be in pretty good shape. As you can see, I mean, they were brand new. Like the rotors don't have any use on them. The calipers are brand new in the front. I inspected the drums in the back. I didn't do anything with them. They seem to work pretty well. We haven't done the hoses, but the system's got good brake pressure. I bled it and it seemed to be good, so it may need hoses, but right now the brakes work great. I'm trying to think what else we had to do on it. That was really it mechanically. So the paint, I hand polished the sides of the car. Now this down here was damaged. It looks like maybe the wheel had come off at some point when they were driving it down the road and went under and grabbed the fender lip and pulled it and tucked it under. I went ahead and pulled it out just so you could see kind of what's going on there. It really, I mean, you know, it needs work there, but it's honestly it's not rotted out, and it doesn't look like it'd be impossible to fix it. None of the inner structure seems to be damaged. You know, I started to use a shrinking hammer and straighten this edge out, and it actually shrunk back down pretty nicely. So I think with some work you could smooth that back out and have it look really good. We kind of liked the rough look of that, so we left it because it kind of adds some character to the car. But again, if you want a really perfect car, it's something you'll want to fix. Something else we had to do, the tires were old. They were 30 plus years old, 35 years old, something like that, and had been sitting, so they were all dry rotted. We discovered that no one here in Boise wants to mount tires on wire rims that require tubes. So we had to buy a manual tire mounting tool, and I went ahead and mounted 4 new tires and tubes and liners. And I also bought an old school balancing tool. The wheels feel pretty good. There's a little bit of wobble or shake at 45 miles an hour. I'm gonna see if I can balance it out more, but you know, that might be something that needs to be done professionally to be able to take it to highway speeds. We replaced some of well, we replaced a lot of rubber bits on the car already. We have some more we need to still do, but we replaced the tail light lenses. They were all cracked and falling apart, so we got a set of of old ones and put on there that were in good shape. We also found a hardtop for it. I don't have the glass back in yet. I think we'll probably just ship the car with the glass loose. We have all the gaskets for it and the glass. Someone just needs to do the job, and I just haven't had time to do it. As of right now, the hardtop's kind of just sitting on the car. It's mounted in the front because we couldn't find any of the original style mounting hardware. We wanted the original for it. I'm going to go ahead and mount the back down just using hardware that you can get at the hardware store, so that it's safe to travel with the hardtop on it. But obviously, once you get it, if you want it to be really nice and easy to take the hardtop off and on, you'll want to get the correct mounting hardware. You can see we got the gasket for it. I stuck it in there right now just so that the hardtop's not sitting on the body, so it doesn't scratch the paint all up. The interior needs some work. I cleaned it all out. Everything seems to be working. The speedometer is off, and you can actually see here, if I go in closer, you can see it. I don't know if someone took it apart or if the cable is jammed up or what, but it starts at 11 miles an hour. So when you're driving, you got to subtract 11 from it. Now it seems to be consistent. I've used a GPS and it seems to stay around that 10-11 mile an hour off. So I mean, it could just be that this needle's set wrong. It could be that the cable is bound up a little bit and needs to be replaced, so it's setting it a little higher. But tach works, oil pressure gauge works, temp gauge works, the amp gauge works, the fuel gauge works. All the lights seem to come on as they should. We replaced the ignition switch. The one that was in here would not make contact very well, so we put a new switch in. We also put a new choke in. Someone had put a choke that was just a wire. It wasn't like the correct style choke. So we've got a correct choke cable in there now. The choke seems to work nicely. Obviously it needs seat upholstery, it needs carpets. So the car was originally red with gray interior. Someone switched it to white, but they left the dashboard the original gray panel. So we believe that's an original panel. It's in really good shape. To make the car, you know, correct to original, you'd need to get a gray interior for it, or you know, you could switch this panel out to white or whatever you want to do with it. The white looks okay. You can see some of the interior panels are still, I think they're still the original grays, you know, on the fender wells. Hardtop, the headliner's in really good shape. It could use a cleaning, but not too bad. It needs some of the welting around the edges. We have side screens for it that need to be restored, but they look like they're the originals and are ready to go, you know, be restored and put back on the car. They line up with the hardtop nicely, which is good. Let's see what else. Oh, come around to the front here real quick. So we took the hood hinges off and put new rubber gaskets. Let's see, did I do rubber gaskets on this one? I have rubber gaskets for it. I need to probably do those still. You can see there's some scuffing in the paint here, and this piece needs some work. I don't know what exactly is wrong with it. When we got the car, it was missing the front badge and all the letters, so we ordered a set of letters. The badge was actually ended up being in the trunk, so someone had filled the holes when they painted the car, so we just popped the holes out and put the badges on. Yeah, it cleaned the car up having those on. Let me go ahead and start the engine. All right, let's try starting it up. So I ran out of fuel this morning, so it might have to pump here for a little bit, but let's see. We'll find out. Not too bad. Like I said, I ran it out of fuel this morning on accident, so I had to put a bunch more fuel in it. I let it cool down after I brought it over here. Start up here. Let's see. All right, so it idles right at like 950, somewhere right around there. It'll still be a little too cold here without choke. So here's the original ignition switch, in case you want to rekey stuff. It's got the key number on it, and the tumbler's there. I mean, you could always put it back, I guess. It doesn't work real great, but I mean, it'll work. You just got to jiggle it. But you know, so we got the new key in there. Let's go ahead and take it for a spin. Let me pop this hood down real quick. All right. Put this handle in the door pocket. Slide on in. Not too bad. Okay. Synchro on second, third, and fourth. You don't have synchro on first, so you gotta either not use first or come to a complete stop prior to shifting into it. Something you definitely got to look into. Like I said, I'll check it, make sure it's just not out of balance. It may be. You know, honestly, around town, it's a really nice car to drive. It's comfortable. It's got lots of torque. You know, I'll come out a second here, no problem. Pull into our parking lot. Yeah, it's a fun little car. We have another project that needs the garage space, so unfortunately this one's got to go. Show you the trunk here real quick before I end the video. It's got some extra parts, some nice, you know, shag carpet there to keep it from scratching things up, I guess. I don't know, but we've got some more spares. Some of the stuff I'm going to try to get installed here in the next couple of days. So we've got some spares there, some rubber bits. We got an extra auxiliary belt, some of the rubber gaskets for things around the car, an extra valve cover gasket. There's some tune-up parts. I'm trying to get some of this stuff on. Oh, here's the the straps, the correct straps for the soft top. I don't think I'm going to worry about those, but they will come with the car. We also have a white soft top for the car that's in pretty good shape. It's not perfect, but definitely usable as is. But yeah, it's a sweet car. If you'd love to have it, be sure to bid on it on eBay. You'll find a link in the description to the eBay listing, as well as our write-ups about the car. Yeah, thanks for joining me. Be sure to check it out.